What did y'all save? Y'all were on this quest. So for everybody that was making 24-hour lives, let me know, what happened? What is this, what you guys were working on? I'm a little lost. Putting somebody's mother, child at risk of a stress attack. It seems like you guys were not going to stop until you got what you wanted. And you would have thought that you got what you wanted, which was Jaguar locked up. You're calling the jail system, harassing a family. Got Legina out here spreading more lies. Come on now, people. Everybody said they didn't believe her. Now she's on a press tour. Y'all protected that black man because it was familiar. And now y'all feel bad. Y'all protected Goomba. Oh, let's get him away from this crazy woman. Remember? Oh, no. I want us to remember. Do everyone remember? Let's get him away from her. She's crazy. But little did y'all know, right after that barbecue, I was about to say barbecue. Right after that barber shop situation, Goomba recorded that information and went right on over to the other woman's house. Goomba had left her and the kids that are not his. That he was in a delivery room with, coaching her through. She's got him thinking that he has some a miracle child. Uh-huh. So a woman that allegedly says, these are your children, and the grandmother has to take a DNA test. The red flags are there, people. But black women are so comfortable with protecting black women. It's like a natural instinct. Oh, let me protect him. Y'all didn't say, let me check on my sister and see if she's okay. Let me check on my sister to see how she's doing. The mom wants to be with Jaguar, and the nieces are being disrespectful as they were on that television show. Once again, the 15 minutes are up, sisters and brothers, and everybody out there that's exploiting Jaguar. Y'all know her Cash App. Y'all know she has music on all platforms. Friends, family, and foes. Go stream Jaguar's music on all platforms. Because, see, this is a time when, you know who's there for you when you've hit rock bottom. Jag's at rock bottom. And now we have people acting like they care about a black woman. They're acting like they care about the same person that they had on their panel and laughed when she expressed herself. When she said things that may not have been rational. You laughed. Queen, remember when Tasha K did Surviving Jaguar on her YouTube channel? Yeah. And we say, let's get our mental health in order. But what do we, people are making fun of individuals with mental health disorders, shortcomings. Did y'all send her $1? Y'all were entertained. Did y'all make a post? Or are you a contributing factor to what our ancestors fought so hard for us not to do? Turn against one another. But that seems like the popular thing nowadays for some people. They don't mind selling out for the $1. They don't mind hosting an individual that's crying out for help on their panel while they get their coin. The husband is being praised by everybody, including her friends. He's been given a platform by her social media friends. Some men, mhm. Let's talk about being stalked. Have you ever been stalked? Have you ever been watched against your will? Let's talk about it because a lot of people thought it was funny, especially the black woman that pulled up on her. Thought it was funny. So, y'all already know black women have it hard here in society, right? So, what do our black brothers do? Oh, let me help society. Let me fulfill my purpose and what society wants. Let me take a sister down. Y'all got her in these places. Y'all don't know who works in these facilities. Y'all don't know who's connected with who. We don't know if she's being given too much of anything. We don't know anything now. But thanks to y'all, this is what y'all wanted. And now you're sad because the streets are dry. I'm worried for her now. We've seen the same lady follow her across 3 state lines. Yeah. Now that is a mental health issue. When you can pick up in your you can pick up in your regular life and be a robot for a man to take down a woman. You are no better than those people that sit in the parking lot and prey on people, that be in those little vans and snatch people up. That's the type of time she's on. You know, the woman that's rolling across state lines, that's the type of time she's on. And she's doing it for a black man. Might I add, a convicted convict. You know, it's the women, it's her working for him. And you have, when Jaguar comes up on panels, is women that like to get their rocks off on her, all while her husband sits back, devises that plan on up, and boom, it all falls down. Let's keep it real. Jag said people were following her. Let's keep it real. Gerald admitted that he did that to that car on a live. Y'all protected that black man. Whoever gave that man a platform to come over and sit up on him and his side chick, and this is supposed to be your friend, but you gave her husband and his side chick a platform to dog her out even more and collect cash apps. And those are friends. Those are friends. I'm good. I'm good on that. Why do black women have to explain something is going on and still get ignored? Why does it, when a black woman tell her story, it has to be critiqued? You're looking for holes in her story. You're looking of a way to make it her fault. Why is that? When Karen comes up, nobody gives that a second thought, do they? Don't lie, because Karen is in your workplace. Moving on. These women are so blind because they watch men dog women on a daily. If you're sitting up on a creator's channel and that's all they do is drag women, and you're sitting there, you got your popcorn, you got your feet propped up, when it happens to us, when I say us, someone close to us, we have to realize what have we been contributing to. Because if you watch something for so long, it becomes a habit. You watching somebody tear somebody down, you're watching that, you're watching it, you're watching it, you're going to have that spirit. Nobody, including her friends, held the side chick accountable. They praised her. So if you see them out on a press tour now, ask them why did they give the side chick a platform to come up, get cash apps, etc. Miss Nikki, you wanted the spotlight, but unfortunately, you have to battle with Jaguar's sister and her nieces. Okay? Because they wanted the fame, and it seems like you wanted the fame too. And unfortunately, making, coming up off their, the sister and the aunt's name, they had to put their feet in the game. So you might as well step back, um, because, yeah, the unhinged are out. You know, Lachelle's daughters, They want to nuck if you buck, you know. But grandma wants peace. And so that's why grandma is hesitant to be in their presence. They're always yelling. They talk back to their mother, allegedly. They're unhinged. And so grandma wants her peace. And so that's why she's not moving to Hell on Wheels Avenue. If everybody wanted to know, why is grandma does not want to move to Hell's on Wheels Avenue. Let's talk about it. But instead of holding our family accountable, when do we hold our friends accountable? When do we give them boundaries? When do we give them non negotiables? I'll let that marinate. I love you all. All right. Greetings. Greetings, royals, queens, and kings. It's your host, Queen Tulsa. And this is definitely the Queen Tulsa show. Tonight, people will be, kind of harsh in those type of moments. And so, yeah, it's just been a lot going on. I was recently attacked. And that's all I can say. So yeah, I'm just not really feeling my best. So I'm gonna just go off camera. Um, you're close to 3,000 subscribers. I know. Look at us. We are growing. Listen, with the help of you guys, listen, I'm gonna share it with you all. I'll be honest for the people that are just coming in. Um, I was attacked. And that's all I want to say. Um, it's been a lot, y'all. It's been a lot. But I don't want to share too much details because the last time I brought the hate crime to the internet, y'all know how they went with that. And so, yeah, so I'm highly medicated. I've got, it's just a lot going on. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm here. I'm still here. I'm still on the fight. And I'm doing the best that I can. So just bear with us, sister. But this particular topic right here, um, I could not sit back and not say anything. Norris Tony says you're close to 3K subscribers. Great job. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe, guys. Okay, so let's get into it because I think we all saw the live that this lady did earlier. And early this morning, this is what I don't understand. It's like we're all Black women, we're all in this sector, right? And we're all just trying to thrive. We like to give our commentary, but why does it have to get down to the gutter and just malicious to where people's calling child protective services, where people are weaponizing 911, weaponizing public information. It bothers me. It bothers me because this woman right here that's on the screen, she has a young daughter that sits up and watches all her commentary. All her commentary. That's all she can do to pass the time by for her child is by inviting her online with her so she can talk about other people. I could only imagine the school notes that come home. You know, how is she responding, or is she in school? Is she being homeschooled? You know, does she know her ABCs? Do she know how to count? Does she know what cat and a dog is? See, people spend so much time in everybody else's business and they are lacking parenting, and they are showing us. This woman sits up online with her child, her toddler child. I believe it's a toddler. I'm not really sure. But from the conversations, it sounds like a toddler. I don't know. But it's not safe. It's not okay. Why would that be something that you would want to teach your offspring? And the only thing she could do is put on her box, her shades, and smile about it. Is this what your religion is about? That's how y'all get down? I have questions. And I know you all have stopped by because you guys wanted to know about Jaguar Wright, but we have to address the mess that this woman is spewing. It's so uncalled for. She's not the only one. You have her over there spewing rhetoric as well. They are so boring. They're so dry for content. Let us see the inside of your life. Why can't you ever come on camera? Let's talk about it. We got a monster mom. We got mommy biter. It's a lot of mama trauma that people don't want to address. They pull up to these meetings and they want to get paid. Y'all send me a cash app so I can drag. I can drag. Let's talk about the Candace. The Candace is going to be very upset. She finds out the love of her life decided to move on and procreate with someone else. You heard me? Man, when you talk about trauma bonding, when you want to talk about generational misinformation or generational curses, ladies and gentlemen, it stops here. For those of you that didn't know what trauma bonding is, I'll go ahead and bring up the definition so you guys can know what I'm talking about. So trauma bonding happens when an abuser uses manipulation, tactics, and cycles of abuse to make the victim feel dependent on them for care and validation, causing a strong attachment or bond. This often occurs in romantic, narcissistic relationships, but can also occur in families, friendships, or work relationships. Let's talk about trauma bonding. Are you guys able to see this on the screen? Okay. If not, just follow with me. Follow me here, okay? Get in close. 7 stages of trauma bonding. 1, love bombing. 2, trust and dependency. 3, criticism. 4, manipulation and gaslighting. 5, resignation and giving up. 6, loss of self. 7, addiction to the cycle. Here, let's go ahead and bring this up. I actually like this little activity. How can I bring it up? How about this? We'll get some education going on because a lot of people, they want commentary and stuff. I want to give you guys some education to, how to recognize and cope with trauma bonding, okay? And you can share this with your friends. Here, let me put the link of this article in the chat. And if you're the replay gang, that way you can also click on it, familiarize yourself with it, and then that way you can, you can get the help that you need. Because as it states, the trauma bonding, it doesn't just happen with your friends. It could happen in family, it could happen in the workplace, and you want to be able to set boundaries. And I recommend anybody that is experiencing anything of that nature to definitely, care for your mental health first. You definitely want to care for your mental health. You want to put that first at all times. At all times, you want to put your mental health ahead of anything that you are going through. Okay, so here we go. I did put the article in there, so if you guys want to click on it and read along with me, that'll be fine. And also, I'm about to jump into the chat with y'all, so I can put my Cash App in here. That is $beautiful 070707 if you would like to donate to the channel. Okay, so how to recognize a trauma bond and what to do about it. This article was posted by Kate Dubay, January 25th, 2022, and it's an 8-minute read. So how about we just listen to it?
Recognize a trauma bond and what to do about it. In the summer of 1973, a bank robbery occurred in Stockholm, Sweden, where 4 bank workers were taken hostage for 6 days. Over that period, it's said that the workers began to develop a bond with the robbers, which grew so strong that one of the captives told the Swedish Prime Minister she fully trusted her captors but feared the police might kill her if they attempted a rescue. The psychiatrist who led the police response during this extraordinary saga went on to originate the popular term Stockholm Syndrome. While hotly contested and lacking any diagnostic criteria, Stockholm Syndrome is a well-known, and often problematic, media portrayal of an exaggerated trauma bond. What is trauma bonding? A trauma bond is an emotional and psychological attachment that develops in the context of a physically exploitative or abusive relationship. One partner may harass, beat, threaten, intimidate, or otherwise abuse the other person. Features of trauma bonding might include an imbalance of power in the relationship, manipulative use of intermittent loving or kind and hostile behavior. This is sometimes referred to as the cycle of abuse, though this term inaccurately implies that abuse is predictable. Social isolation, creating vulnerability, poor self-concept, and a sense of dependence. The victim or survivor's self-blame for the negative interactions, and gratitude for the positive. The victim or survivor's internalization of the other's point of view, and loss of sense of self. Prior experiences of trauma in the victim or survivor's life. Continued feelings of love or abandonment after the abusive relationship has ended. In some cases, there may be a sense of fear or loss of belief in the possibility of a safe and supportive relationship. Human trafficking is an example of an extreme power imbalance that can lead to trauma bonding. In situations like these, psychological coercion can change the brain, and any kindness is magnified. This concept can also be applied to everyday relationships like friends, family members, and intimate partners. And the bonding is not always one sided. Oftentimes, both parties seem to develop an emotional connection, and the person inflicting the abuse will often blame, shift, or make excuses for their behavior, such as teaching you a lesson. Signs of trauma bonding. Chances are you've either been in or observed one of your friends or family members in a toxic relationship that, in retrospect, went on much longer than it should have. This phenomenon demonstrates the power of trauma bonds. The way we emotionally, psychologically, and financially attach to other people makes the idea of just packing up and leaving a relationship that's not good for you much more complex than you might first think. With trauma bonding, there is an added complexity of boundary confusion and difficulty recognizing behavior that's kind, loving, intimate, and safe versus abusive, toxic, offensive, and hateful. Here are some warning signs to keep an eye out for. You want to cut off the relationship but haven't been able to. Whether it's a relationship with a friend, partner, or family member, if you've been thinking that you'd be better off leaving someone behind but continue to not be able to cut them out of your life, that might be a sign of a trauma-bonded relationship. It's possible you don't even like the other person, and you may have thought about leaving several times but ultimately couldn't surmount an inexplicable pull to stay. Or maybe you feel sick and full of panic when you're away from them, even though being with them is toxic. Of note, some people are in situations where they are too afraid to leave an abusive relationship. If this is the case for you, trust yourself to know what's the best and safest decision when it comes to making a decision to separate. You make excuses for the other person's bad behavior. If you're constantly convincing yourself or other people that your relationship is healthy, or if you find yourself lying about the ways the other person behaves to protect their image, that's a huge red flag. You may think that it's all acceptable because your bond is so strong, but remember that relationships built on trauma bonds do not transform into healthy and loving dynamics, no matter how much work you put into them. You're stuck in the fantasy you developed early in the relationship. When you met this person, maybe you were thrilled that he was so attentive and caring. He brought you food and remembered every last detail about your friends. You were excited to have him be the father of your children one day and to give them the two-parent childhood you didn't have. These are the types of fantasies we develop at the beginning of a relationship. When things start to go south, people often cling to the relationship because they are clinging to that idealized version. This person was going to come into your life, fill in the gaps, and give you just what you needed. It's hard to let go of that. Abusive partners sometimes come off as charming and charismatic. And unfortunately, they may begin a relationship by love bombing you. They'll make you feel safe, important, cared for, and loved while filling whatever emotional hole you've been struggling with. Maybe they'll call you their soulmate and shower you with attention. Then the devaluation and abuse will start. If you're stuck in the past or always leaning on what could be with the other person, your relationship may be based on a trauma bond. You feel isolated from the rest of the world. Isolation and threats to survival often strengthen the bond, leading to a greater sense of dependence and belief in the demeaning and belittling things that are said to you. In these situations, a person's self-esteem can plummet. Eventually, you might stop interacting with others altogether, leaving people like law enforcement, healthcare providers, and even your family and friends feeling unsafe or untrustworthy. You're growing numb to the toxic dynamic and abuse. Traumatic and abusive relationships can leave people feeling afraid, confused, and lost. It's extremely hard to pick up the pieces and learn how to set healthy boundaries or create a safe environment for yourself. Instead, some people might dissociate or feel numb as a way to cope. You may even turn to alcohol or other mood-altering substances to get by. If you're beginning to settle into the mistreatment and feel that you deserve it or it's all you're going to get, that's a sign of a trauma bond. If a loved one was in this relationship, you'd want them out. Imagine your best friend was in this same relationship. Could you see the signs of abuse and toxicity from a mile away? Would you want them out? If your relationship with another person is such that you wouldn't wish it on any of your loved ones, it's likely built on a trauma bond. The relationship brings you back to toxic dynamics from childhood. Consider whether your current relationship has parallels with unhealthy or harmful relationships you had as a young child. When people are abused as young children, it can impact the types of relationships they form as an adult. You might recognize that you're repeating the same abusive dynamics that you had with a parent or caregiver when you were a child. Some theorize that this happens because we are unconsciously trying to heal our past attachment wounds by getting into the same situation and hopefully making it better this time. Unfortunately, the trauma bonded relationship won't give you the type of healing that you are seeking. What to do if you're in a trauma bonded relationship? It's not easy to break a trauma bond once and for all, but it is possible. Here are some tips that might help you to break free. Put your safety first. If you fear for your safety, work with your therapist or a trusted person to develop a safety plan for how to leave. Limit the people you share the information with to the bare minimum, and protect yourself by not letting your partner in on your thinking. Cut off contact. Once you begin the process of separation, your experience of the trauma bond may become more intense and draw you back to the person. The loss of this relationship will often feel like a deep and painful loss. Stopping all communication, or as much as possible, depending on whether you have shared property, pets, or kids, is the best way to recover yourself. Some people tend to wear rose-colored lenses when they look back on a toxic relationship and only remember the good times. If that sounds like you, when you're tempted to reach out, remind yourself of why you left. Trust that it will get easier with time. Write down your boundaries. Taking some time to journal about what you're looking for in a friend or partner, what behavior you'll compromise on versus what you absolutely won't put up with, is a great way to organize your thoughts and know what types of relationships you want to build going forward. Think about interactions and behaviors in your trauma-bonded dynamic that you don't want to repeat, and take note of any red flags that you can look out for in future partners. Make space for healthy relationships. If you're used to having toxic people in your life, and it feels normal to be demeaned and belittled by your loved ones, focus on developing relationships with people who offer you kindness, respect, and compassion. Demonstrate those things in return, and you'll develop a supportive network around you. If you're feeling alone, talk about this in therapy, and you can work together to process your feelings and come up with a plan. You might join a support group, connect with people from your faith, or meet up with people doing the activities you love to do. It's been hard to meet new people during the pandemic. Perhaps you can have a video call with an old friend and start there. You'll be surprised at how open people can be when you reach out to connect. When you're coming out of a trauma-bonded relationship, you'll be vulnerable and in a place of self-discovery. For this reason, it might be best to focus on developing solid, healthy, and stable friendships before venturing into the dating world. Try something new. Isolation only strengthens the trauma bond and increases your dependence on the toxic and abusive relationship. If you're able to put yourself out there and try something new, maybe a hiking group, language class, gym membership, yoga, painting, or any other activity that piques your interest, your self-esteem will grow. There are many groups and classes that have continued online during the pandemic. As you engage in more self-care and activities that feel enriching, you'll also have more to turn your attention to once you separate yourself from the trauma bond. Educate yourself. Reading this article is a great start. As you begin to differentiate your trauma bond from feelings of love and respect, you'll be better equipped to see your relationship for what it is and create the space you need to heal. When you understand what's pulling towards the relationship, you can also begin to work through any underlying issue and heal deeper wounds. Talk to your therapist. You can always check that your online therapist has experience working with relationships.
What's a girl to do? She needs love. Girls need love. Girls can't never say they want it. Girls can't never say yeah. Girls can't never say they need it. Girls can't never say